What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Just letting you know with this little bit at the start that we now have a Patreon. Sub up to that and you can get all these episodes early and ad-free, so you won't even see this bit at the start. You get them a few days before the main episodes drop out. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got some studio episodes. We've got some Zoom episodes with some fantastic rappers talking about the films they love and the films that influenced them. We got a lot going on there. Plus, you get some bonus content like film reviews, all that kind of thing. I don't need to explain this to you. You know what a Patreon is. But yeah, it's patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. So check that out. Peace. Yes, people. What's good? I'm Kinell, and this is Sinister Cinema, where we get deep into the guts of the stranger side of cinema. Kinell Sinister Cinema is brought to you by Forgotten Sons Apparel. Check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Forgotten Sons Apparel is a York-based streetwear brand drawing inspiration from alternative culture, tattoos, film, classic TV and cartoons from our childhood. In our own words, if you like our stuff half as much as we do, then we like it twice as much as you. I'm a big fan of this brand and I love the guys who make it. They've supported me for years, way before I was podcasting. They supported me in my battle rap career. You might have seen me rocking some of their garms on Don't Flop and other leagues. I love Forgotten Sons Apparel and I'm urging you all to check them out at forgottensonsapparel.co.uk. Right, now on with the show. Hey, what's good? KSC Podcast once again. I am always at a buzz of every rhyme I wrote, and everybody want to know me like the Wi-Fi code. Kinell himself back at it, and I am sweltering today. We are recording this on the 10th of August, and it's way too hot out there. So I am podcasting in a vest, and I am not the slightest bit arsed. So today, it's the KSC with way less sleeves, because outside my house, it's 28 degrees. It is hot, and I am not coping well. I've had 2 showers already, and I'm not ruling out a third. Ace episode today, but before we get into it, I got to do those plugs and let you know what there is for you to watch and the gigs you need to be hitting up. Going all over the country, hella active in the next few months, like all the way up until Christmas and probably way past that. As for battles that you can watch right at home now, me and Gas Buff, the horrorcore battle from April Fools, which we shot down in Bristol. That is out now. You can check that out. We also have, what else we got? What else forgot? Yeah, my battle with Danny Jack is out on the Don't Flop YouTube. But we also had a brilliant episode with him on a couple of weeks ago. So you can hop back and check that too. Watch the interview, check the battle. Everybody wins. Plenty of quality content. Yunnan versus Jinx from the Iron Bars event up in Glasgow that I was at recently. That's just dropped on YouTube. Fantastic battle. I urge you to check that out. And I presume it means that my one I did up there versus Melody is going to be dropping in the next couple of weeks. But if you want to see it before that, you can sub up to the Iron Media Group Patreon and watch it there. That's all the stuff I got out at the minute. But plenty of gigs coming up in 2 weeks. It'll be 1 week from when this drops. It's going to be Fright Fest. I'm going to be knocking about all weekend. So yeah, make sure you come and have a beer with me because I'll drink with anyone and I'm good at it. But I will be nipping off briefly on a Saturday, 26th of August. I'm going to be heading out to West London, Greenford Keys Amphitheatre. There's a little training days event, some battle rap tryouts for Don't Flop. I'm going to nip over there. Said I'm in town. I'll headline a little thing. So I'm going to battle Raz Ren, and he will be going home in a bin bag. 2 weeks after that, on says here on the tickets, I thought it was Saturday, but it turns out it's Friday. Nope, fucking hell. I'm looking at a different event. I'll be in Cardiff on Saturday the 9th. My opponent for that might be announced, might not be at this stage, but that it's for the Differences 2 event, and it's going to be something that has not been done before in the UK because we like to bring you that kind of innovation. So that's Differences 2 Don't Flop in Cardiff, September 9th. Haven't confirmed an opponent yet, but we're doing our first Don't Flop event in conjunction with Bombshell. That's Jen currently performing as Seven Sentinels. She's going to do the first Don't Flop Milton Keynes event with us called Breakout. They've just announced Lazy versus Soweto Kinch. Couple of my personal favorites, so I'm trying to get on that card. Haven't confirmed an opponent yet. And on Saturday, the 4th of November, it is the 15th birthday. Can you believe it? A decade and a half of Don't Flop, 15 years. So it is institution. It's going to be a 2-day event. I'm going to be battling on day 1. I'm going to be battling DNT Uncontained from somewhere in Minnesota. I don't care. I think he's a prick. I'm sending him home in a fucking bin bag. I get more love in Minneapolis than you. I get more offers of gigs in Minneapolis than you. And you fucking live there, mate. How does your hometown rate me more than they rate you? I will murder you. And on day 2, there's going to be a little after party, I hear, after the main event with all the incredible title matches and things like that going on. And me and Zayn Azrai, my homeboy, 2-time opponent, the amazing Malaysian, I could be we're teaming up and we're offering anyone. We will take on anyone at the event in a freestyle 2-on-2. People have been a bit shy on the uptake because we know we'll fuck them up, but that is what it is. I'm sorry, had to kick off with a lot of announcements today. Got a lot to announce. We are very, very active. And when I'm not active, lately I've been on Twitch. Make sure you check out twitch.tv/Kinell, yo. And I've got a lot of the videos up on the channel and all if you're watching this on the YouTube, so you can check some of the playbacks. I've been playing old PS2 Silent Hill games. I've been playing all sorts of horror games, but never done a horror game podcast. And I've been getting really into it. So I'm going to bring on my guest, the fantastic, the incredible, the great and powerful Liz Bishop. How are we?
Hello, I'm very good, thank you, especially after that introduction. I don't think anyone's ever described me as great and powerful, but I'll take it.
Is right. We only speak facts here. Before we get into the subject of the day, I know you mainly from Ghouls Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Senior contributor there, and you've been recently sorting out some events, including that fantastic, the all-nighter up in Birmingham, all-night screening event. Is there anything else you got popping off that people need to know about before we lay into the subject matter of the day?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing which people can probably tell from the dreadful accent, I am in the Midlands. I'm based in Birmingham City Centre, and I'm trying desperately to get more and more horror sort of activities going on down here on behalf of Ghouls Magazine. Obviously, I love London as much as the next person. I can't wait to be at Fright Fest and have all the beers with you and everyone else. But, you know, they get everything, don't they? They get all the screeners, they get all the events. And you know what? Some of us just can't afford to be in London every weekend. So it was sort of my goal at the beginning of the year to try and get a few things going in Birmingham. We did an event at the Mockingbird not long back, as we just mentioned, like a charity all-nighter where we screened horror films all night. And then the next thing that I'm sort of contributing towards is Cine Excess Festival, which is in October. It's a festival that's it's been going for quite some years now. They do like cult films, horror films. They've had some really big guests in the past, and I've managed to get into that because I actually my day job is at Birmingham City University, and the director of the festival is also a professor at my university. So being the cheeky little shit that I am, I sort of wheedled my way into that and was like, can I please help out? Because I really like horror. Yeah.
Use those connections. And
I literally just emailed him and I was like, I love horror. Like, I write for this magazine, like we do, you know, similar kind of thing as you guys. Please, can I be part of it? And fortunately, he said yes. So anyone who hasn't checked out that before, look up Cine Excess. It's a really good film festival. They do like an online bit and an in-person thing. And they also have a real focus on diversity and getting minority voices and directors and things out there. So But obviously also Ghouls Magazine, also for people who are in London or can afford to go to London every month, we do a monthly film night down there at True Romance. I think the next screening, I believe, is Lords of Chaos, which is, I think, the end of this month. So definitely go and check that out.
Yeah, I think is that like next week? Because is it the week before Fright Fest?
It might be. I'm a bit lost on dates. It's definitely soon. It's definitely coming up. But the tickets still available, so go check it out.
I seem to think it's the 18th, so it might be on the day this goes out. So if you're in London, this drops at 4. Like, you've got time to get a ticket, so get down there. And if not, like, flipping, it's been a monthly event, and they've been dropping. It's been non-stop bangers.
Yeah.
So yeah, get it in the calendar. And I didn't make it to the all-nighter. I had some other things going on at the time. But I think like Birmingham is such a good place for these things, because the Midlands, middle of the country, nice and easy for everyone to get to.
This is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's easy for sort of everyone to get to. We've got a really great independent cinema here run by a guy called Lee, who is really passionate about getting people into the cinema. He does, like really affordable tickets. It's not like Odeon where you're paying 20 quid to go and see a film. He's charging a decent price for all sort of films. He also screens films that mainstream cinemas don't screen as much. So like I saw Tatane there. I got to see, what else have I seen there? I can't even think of anything now, but they've done loads of like horror screenings. Oh, Terrifier, they did Terrifier 2 when a lot of cinemas here weren't showing it. They also do like a bunch of like themed nights and things. They recently did a Barbie one, which sold out like 4 nights in a row. They're doing a lot of good stuff for cinema lovers, so it's a really good venue to use.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, before I realised I couldn't make it to the all-nighter, is that it's right by the train station.
Yeah, literally just a few minutes walk. Yeah,
that's absolutely flipping brilliant, because, like, as you say, like, flipping, like, everything's more expensive in London, like even to the travel, like I'm in Chester, so flipping, Birmingham's literally halfway between me and London. My return to London is going to be over 100 quid. Well, I can like hop on a train and back to Birmingham for 20 quid.
Yeah.
Like,
that's insane.
Yeah.
See, I always get the coach because I'm a cheapskate, and the coach from here only costs about £10. But yeah, trains are probably like triple that, if not more. Yeah,
this is it. Like flipping, like I've served my time on coaches. I will say the last coach I got a Flixbus instead of a National Express, and they're loads better. Flipping, like, they run through Birmingham, and a Flixbus, they're a bit cheaper than National Express, but get this, you can book your seat, and for an extra 3 quid, you can book the seat next to you.
Oh, I love that.
So you to have to yourself, like, not to put someone else in, just so you haven't got someone sitting next to you on the coach.
Oh, I love that. There's nothing worse, is there, when you get on a coach and you're thinking, oh God, who's going to sit next to me?
Yeah, I know. This is it. Like, I've been doing coaches, like, because of gigging up and down the country, like for years now. I'm sorry, I'm cashing out. Like I can't do it. I need the comfort now. I just value my time too much.
No, I completely get that. I think the only thing that I struggle with at the moment is because in the last year there's been so many train strikes, and now I get the fear every time I book a train somewhere that it's going to get cancelled and that I'm going to end up getting the coach or struggling to get there anyway. So
you flipping just reminded me. I was doing a gig in London, like, and flipping it was. And like it was like the gig I'd done in London before that was the one where I was doing a like competitive drinking battle event. It's like world shot battle champion of the world, by the way. But flipping going on the coach with that hangover, I was saying, no, that's it. This is the last one. This is the last time ever. So,
yeah, brutal.
So what you call it? When I was battling Danny Jack in Battersea, I flipping think I say yes. This month, flipping as soon as I get paid, I'm going to book my train ticket a month in advance, and it's all going to be comfy. Go in there, great. Had to leg it off home pretty rapid because I didn't have anyone to feed the cats. We got to worry about these things, and that was the day that every single train out of Euston got cancelled.
Oh no!
And like everyone who was going anywhere north had to get on the same train. Like the train back was so bad that flipping it's the one that Rylan was on, and he was live tweeting his journey to Eurovision.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Like this train journey was so bad it was going viral. Like it was ridiculous.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, but I'm gonna risk the train though. I'm gonna risk the train for Fright Fest.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna coach there and train back for the comfort and for the hangover.
Yeah, that's a sensible way of doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So we'll. I did mention games about flipping 10 minutes ago, but so yeah. Today we're going to be talking about the Resident Evil franchise, specifically the latter half of it. It's something I've come to quite late. I think you came to it a bit late and all, but like earlier than me. And I read your article in Ghouls Magazine, which is very good, reviewing the newest one, the Resident Evil 4 remake. And that struck a chord with me because that game's been very important to me. And so I wanted to talk about that with you specifically for that reason. But in a bit of a general thing, like, so how did you sort of come to Resident Evil, the franchise? Like,
so I've my relationship with gaming on a whole has been a bit strange in that I used to have all the consoles growing up because I would, ask for them for Christmas, but then I would play a bit of a game and I'd get too frustrated and I'd never finish it. And then the console would just sit there and gather dust. And then in my teen years, I worked at Game and at Game Station. I worked at both of them at one point. And again, suddenly decided I wanted to be a gamer and got whatever consoles were out at the time and got really into them. And again, just sort of ended up not really getting into anything, letting it gather dust on the shelf. And then obviously March 2020, the month we all remember. So I just turned 30, like 3 weeks before we went into lockdown. And I was gifted a Nintendo Switch because it was something that I really wanted. I was going on a long haul flight for my 30th and I thought that's like the perfect thing to have to keep me company. And then obviously we went into lockdown and suddenly the Switch was the only entertainment that I had. So this is going to be sacrilege, I'm told, by my more gamer friends. But I actually played the first few Resident Evil games on the Nintendo Switch. And I really enjoyed them. The first one was extremely clunky and took me a while to get through because it's dated as fuck. But yeah, I sort of worked my way through them, got to like 5 and 6 and really loved those. And yeah, I think they were just the only games that I'd ever completed all the way through that I sort of really stuck with and really wanted to see through till the end. The earlier ones, again, not so much because they were hard going. The graphics aren't that great. The controls aren't that great. But then as you get into like the later ones, really fell in love with them. And then when we came out of lockdown, my friend, I think whatever month or time it was that the PS5 came out, my friend got a brand new PS5 for Christmas and donated me their PS4. So then I was like, oh, I can be a proper gamer now. I can actually play real games. And I got Resident Evil Village. And again, I'm going to be pissing off all the gamer bros because I played them backwards. I played Village first and then I played Biohazard. And Village especially, absolutely loved it. I loved how scary it was. I loved the story. I just thought it was absolutely beautiful and had so much fun. I think I probably completed it in like probably less than a week, which might not be a lot for, I know you can do a whole game in a day. But
It's only Resident Evil 4. We'll get into that later.
But for someone who's not that versed in gaming, like it was, I got through it, I binged through it pretty quickly, and then ever since I've just I played that through a couple of times. I've played Biohazard a couple of times, and then Resident Evil 4, the remake. I just bought it the day it came out. That did not take me a few days though, but I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah, it's quite weird because we got different timescales, but it's kind of a similar thing. Sort of my relationship with them, because what happened was flipping. I used to play like flipping Amiga and that growing up, like when I was a really little kid, and then I go to uni, and this is just around the start of like the PS2 era, and that's when you started getting really good horror games with intriguing plots and that. But at the time, the controls were like, because I got dyspraxia, like the controls, I couldn't really get my head around them at the time. And also, flipping, I was in uni, I was smoking a lot of weed, didn't have the attention span to like flipping really like learn the ways of doing things. But what had happened is because we just had no money and not much to do, we just sit around smoking weed. One of my mates would play like Silent Hill 2 or Project Zero. And we'd all just watch it, and they were very scary. So I always like had that love for the horror games, but I wasn't really like playing them. And it's like my money's always sort of gone on other things. Like I was DJing, so my money always went on records, and sort of DJing changed. I stopped DJing and wasn't in raves, so. That when I started making music, I was buying, my money was going into equipment and all that. And, eventually I'll find myself getting into battle rap, and I don't need equipment anymore. I just need ideas, and I'm not collecting records anymore. But I hadn't played any of these games in ages. There've been like decades of development since the ones that I found so fascinating. And what should we call it? I think it was might have been like start of last year. I bought myself a Nintendo Switch, just to have something to bugger about on, because I was playing like a lot of games on my phone. I thought, this is rubbish. I'm just burning battery here. Like I might as well get something proper. So I got a Switch, and I got into like some of the older Resident Evils, like the original Resident Evil 4 and all this kind of thing. And what should we call it? The Resident Evil Revelations games I really enjoyed on the Switch. I started playing through them, and flipping as I got more and more into it, I picked up like Xbox at the back end of last year, because the Series X is only like £200, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I started like getting into like because like around that time they'd announced like the cloud versions of like Resident Evil Village and all that on the Switch. And I had a bit of a go at that. I thought, this is pretty cool, but if it's only £200 for a thing, I might get one of them. So I did that, and I've just been tearing through stuff all year. Got very taken with the Resident Evil franchise, and I had Resident Evil 4 like pre-ordered like from the off, and then like I say, I love gaming now, and I particularly love like single player things that are really involved. And with a good story I can follow, I get really invested in them. And then like right around the time that Resident Evil 4 drops, flipping me cat Dillinger has a few health problems that he's fine now, but it didn't look like it was going to be that way for a while. I was not dealing with it well, and it cost me all my money in vet bills. But I had Resident Evil 4, and I didn't really have any money for the new games either afterwards. So I just got to the end of it and played it again, like flipping. Yeah, it probably took me like a week to finish it the first time round. But like I say, I could do it in like 3 or 4 hours now, and
that blows my mind.
But that's because there was like one period of time where I was just getting to the end of it and starting again with the new weapons I'd unlocked.
Yeah. That absolutely blows my mind. I found that, there's been hard bits of all three of the newer three, but Resident Evil 4, I definitely found the hardest. Like, that was the one that I sort of really struggled to cane through. I just found, like, some of the bigger battles and things, I just kept dying. Like, when you first play it, and obviously you got that like iconic sequence where you first get into the village and all the villagers are coming at you and you have to keep going, you have to just keep fighting them off until like the bell rings or the clock strikes or whatever it is. And I just kept dying, couldn't figure out what I was meant to do. Obviously, eventually it sunk in that I'm not meant to do anything. I'm meant to just keep going until something else happens. But the amount of times that I died, I was absolutely fucking furious. And then I finally got through it. And then the title card comes up. And I remember thinking, are you taking the piss? I was like, the game hasn't even started yet. And I've just died like 30 times. And it was just a sign of what was to come, because that "you are dead" sign came up a lot for me.
Yeah, flipping a pretty iconic "you are dead" sign at this point. Like, I think the bits that gave me the most stress, like, were, and still do if I'm playing on a high difficulty, is the flipping minecart thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kept just crashing and dying into everything, crashing into everything and kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found the whole thing really hard. I found the battles where you could only use your knife, I found that really hard because I just kept getting beaten. I just couldn't, like, I need my big guns. And there was one, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, I think it was when, see, I'm really crap with names. This is the problem. The little guy that then turns into a big guy. The little, like,
Salazar.
That's the one. When he, like, eventually turns big and you have to fight him, I just couldn't do it. Literally couldn't do it. I kept dying over and over and over again, and I mean for hours. So in the time that you've probably played the whole game, I'm stuck on this one level dying. And I said to my friends, and they all took the piss out of me, but I was like, I literally got to the point where I had to go to it's not the Duke, is it? The guy that, like, sells everything. Yeah. I had to go to him, sell all of my guns, buy the grenade launcher, and just use that on him. And he died first time, and I was like, well, I've got no guns now, but it's fine. At least he's dead. I can start again.
So the thing, I used, like, a rocket launcher when I played the original Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I thought, like, I'm not doing this again. So, like, on my first run, I spent the whole of the castle saving up for the rocket launcher. I thought, he's having fucking this. But yeah, like, flipping, like, the original was like, it's kind of like regarded in the series as like where they started moving, like, away from horror and becoming more of an action thing, and like a bit more jokiness going on. That is an amazing cut, by the way. Do you want to flex it up for the people at home?
Thank you.
That is boss.
No, you hang up. Just live in the horror aesthetic as always.
Oh yeah. Heavy ratings for it. Heavy ratings. But yeah, it was regarded as the one that sort of went away from that, as where it started moving down more of an action direction. But in this remake, like, the remake is incredible. They really brought a lot of, like, terrifying stuff back to it.
Yeah.
Like bits when you are getting swarmed, it's like quite literally nightmarish.
Yeah, really scary. I did find that I don't think that the Resident Evil 4 remake is as scary as Village or Biohazard. I definitely felt, like you said, it's a lot more action based and a lot less sort of. It's weird, isn't it? Because I find that Resident Evil's kind of like all the action with a few of the scares. I find that Biohazard is a lot of scares and a lot of puzzles, but a bit less action. And then Village feels like mostly just scares. Like, it feels super creepy. So I think that's why those are the three that I tend to, like, I go back to, obviously because they're newer as well, and they're the ones that are, like, the best looking and the easiest to control and things like that. But I just think between the three of them, they've got a bit of everything, but they're quite distinct.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. With Resident Evil 4, like I thought the bit where they the whole survival horror thing was Ashley's section.
Yes, yeah, I found that really difficult.
Yeah, I think they did a lot better with the character. Like I don't know if you're that familiar with like the original one, but in the original she was quite annoying. I thought they made her like a really interesting character in this. And,
yeah, I think that was a lot of why I really liked this one. I mean, admittedly, you know, I'm a girly girl. I like a bit of romance with anything. As much as I love my nasty horrors, like I am a sucker for the sort of damsel in distress sort of thing. So I do like the whole vibe of like trying to find Ashley and protect her and everything. But I do like that when you do get to play as her or just with her around, she's actually quite intelligent. Like she is the one who like suggests a lot of the ways to get out of different rooms, and you know, she's always got these ideas of what we can do. And then every time she does sort of get captured, you know, she's trying to fight her way out, and she doesn't sort of give up and just cry in the corner until you go and rescue her. So I liked that bit of it as well, especially compared to like Mia, who kind of just screams, cries, tries to attack you, and does it all over again in the village.
That's another thing though. What's called? I'll tell you what. We'll take it back here. Like, let's talk Biohazard. I did the same as you because I bought my Xbox when Village came out with the DLC. So I bought that. I played that first, and then I went back to Biohazard. Biohazard's it's very interesting. Like, but I mean, like because I played it second, like I don't think I had the revelation of how much of a shift it was in a sort of tone and that. But like that is like that. I'd say it's certainly one of the most clearly like modern horror influenced.
Absolutely, it gives me big like Alien vibes in a way. I think it feels like really sci-fi horror because the monsters all look a bit sort of, they're called molded, don't they? I think they're like all the black slimy sort of, they all look a little bit like Tom Hardy's Venom, I think. With their really big long necks and dead tall, and they've got like the big gaping mouth and stuff. They're super creepy and super aggressive. But yeah, I think it's sort of, when it goes from that to Village, it is a massive shift because Village feels a lot more like a story to me. It feels a lot more, it's not just like a rescue mission. It's got all these sort of individual stories about each of the sort of the big bosses and why they are the way they are and how they link back to like Mother Miranda as like the big boss, and they've all got their own sort of relationships and things like that. I think story-wise, it's more interesting. But it stresses me out in both how, sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but how does Ethan manage to like lose his hand like a million times in both of them?
I even said that in the shorts battle. That was one of my lines. No poker face can help you beat the winners when you lose more hands than Ethan Winters. No one caught it, but
I love that.
I chucked it in there anyway.
So good.
I love me niche references. But yeah, it's quite interesting because like for a long period of time in Biohazard, you don't realize that there's anything connecting it back to any of the other games at all until right at the end. And the opening is very it's more of a like New Orleans swampy thing, but it's very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre in it. Like you've even got the dinner scene, and like Evil Dead is like a big influence on it, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that. I guess so. I'm halfway through playing Biohazard again. So it's been a while since I've been in the swampy bit of it. I'm in the in like the dissection room and stuff like that downstairs at the moment, going through where everything's like sort of black mold on all the walls and things. But you're right, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, especially at the beginning when Ethan first gets caught by the family and he's sat at the table and there's like the what I'm assuming is like the grandma in the wheelchair and they tie him to the chair and force feed him and stuff. That's very Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah. Very much so, very much so. And the way that they bring that back right at the end of Village, it's like an incredibly well put together, like 2-part story. Like I think, like you could call like there's a lot of ways you could call Village like a perfect sequel to like the way that flipping it's like American rural horror starting off but easing into like more Resident Evil territory and Biohazard, and it's like this full-on incredible gothic Village is this full-on incredible European gothic steampunk aesthetic that it's just fascinating work, like and the design in what should we call it Village is just incredible. Like
it blows my mind every time I play it. Like there's certain moments, like for anyone who hasn't played it, there's 4 different chapters and in each chapter you go into sort of a different area, and that kind of starts off in like a bit of a villagey area, but then as you like venture out and stuff, there's some bits where you come out of like a tunnel and you're on the edge of a cliff and the views are just insane. It's like they've somehow like dropped you in the middle of the Alps in Switzerland or something, and it looks so beautiful and so creepy. And then you get to go into all these like big sprawling castles, and then there's bits where you get to go into like again like in the swamps with like the windmills, and then there's like the big factory at the end, which always just creeps me the out when there's just like bodies hanging on like a conveyor belt, and it's all just so different. It feels like you're exploring through so many different worlds, and I always find that really exciting and really satisfying. Like when you're playing a game, when you finally not only the satisfaction of like completing a chapter or beating a demon or something like that, but it's then getting through and going into this whole new location to explore. There's just something about it that's just really exciting to me.
The way it kind of like sort of opens up the bits you've already been, and you can get into like certain places that you haven't been before. So like in some ways you're trapped, but in some ways it's more expansive. Like
like I just love it.
I think that's incredible how they managed to do that on that scale, because like if you go back to like the first one, I completed the remake of the first Resident Evil, which is the one that's available on Switch. Completed it for the first time like earlier this week, and that is just set in a mansion mainly, but like most of the doors are locked, and like you slowly gain access to more and more of it. Like the idea of doing that over an entire village with like huge districts is like it's amazing.
It is. It's just beautiful. I think it's probably, I mean, since getting into Resident Evil and having a PlayStation and stuff, I have managed to like complete other games and play other games, but they just never hit the same. They've just never got that same vibe, that same excitement, that same like story and characters that you really care about. I don't know. I guess because it has been going on for so long, it's like such a long franchise that you feel endeared to those characters. My only regret really with playing it backwards is that I wish that I'd played Biohazard and like really got to know Mia and saving her, because I think that opening scene then in Village where she gets shot would have really it probably would have devastated me.
Yeah, flipping. Very much so. Like flipping Ethan has a shocker, doesn't he? Like,
Oh, honestly terrible.
Literally from the first minute we meet him, like. But yeah. So what should we call it? We should mention the other two recent ones, the remakes of 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're quite interesting because they're both like sort of like hinged around this whole thing of a stalker enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I find very, very scary in computer games, where there's an unpredictable stalker that's going to. You've got Mr. X in that follows you around, and you can just hear him boom, boom, boom. And you've kind of got to figure out where he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've played those, but I feel like I like anything that makes me feel like I'm really in a horror film.
Yeah,
Like I'm playing as the main character in a horror film. I like games where it's, you've got that sort of tension of you almost feel like you at home have got to hold your breath and make sure that they don't hear you and stuff.
flipping like I played a game where you have to do that recently. It's like I say, like when I moved to Twitch, like I've got like a PC now, which is what we're doing this on, and played a game on it called Backrooms 98, which is an indie game. It's like sort of, it's like a found footage thing, but you're holding the camera.
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it uses your microphone, and you can't attack the thing that's after you. You've got to hide from it, but it uses your microphone. So if you're breathing too loud, the thing in the game can hear you and can hear where you're hiding.
Oh my God, that's horrifying.
It's fucking terrifying.
So you can't even like take a little puff of your vape or anything because they'll hear you.
Yeah, this is it. Like, you're trying to like regulate your breathing, because if you try and just hold your breath, then you might not be able to hold it for long enough, and you might go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible. I
Yeah.
think the scariest game that I've ever played, I mean, I do think that Village did scare me quite a lot the first time I played it. But I also remember a few years ago playing the PT, what was going to be Silent Hill, whatever number. And the one where you just sort of walk around the corridor and every time you turn the corner, there's something else there. And I can remember that being terrifying, and even thinking to myself, like, why is it so scary to walk a character on the TV around a corner? Like, it's not me doing it. And yet it feels like it is. It feels like if you push your character around this corner, something's going to get you. And it's just so much fun.
Yeah, I exactly that. Like, it's the fact that it's in first person, and it's the fact that what should we call it? If your character dies, it's because you fucked up.
Absolutely.
It's because this character that you're controlling is only able to continue if you get it right, and that pressure and anxiety like ties into it. And I mean, like there's like a sort of PT inspired that House Buenaviento in Evil Village, and that level is fucking horrifying.
Oh, honestly, that is definitely the scariest chapter of I think any game that I've ever played. The bit with the baby, I can remember. So I live on my own, and I can remember playing that in the dark at home on my own and thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I had to pause it and be like, oh no, I don't know if I can do it. I think it's the bit where, like, when you finally have, you've sort of sorted out that the doll and everything, and you get through where you're meant to go down into the well. Yeah. And I can remember looking at it and thinking, are you fucking kidding me? This isn't the Ring. Like, I don't want to go into this well and dig out some like dead child. But I eventually go down there, and then as you come up, when you can just hear the baby crying, oh, it honestly gives me goosebumps. It's so terrifying, but so good. and then the last thing in the world that you're expecting is a giant, gory fetus to suddenly come out of the dark and try and kill you.
Yeah, flipping.
It's brilliant.
Horrifying stuff.
Whoever thought of that is tapped.
Yeah.
Genuinely tapped. But I love them for it.
Yeah, flipping. Like I think PT had like a really big influence on things, and like that's probably where they came up with a like idea for that Backrooms 98 thing. But using your microphone so it can actually hear you.
That's mean, but I kind of want to play it.
Yeah. Yeah, flipping, and like, because that's the thing. Like, you know, if I was actually in that situation, I'd be hiding there. I wouldn't have a cat that's not going to turn up and like demand a treat. Like,
yeah, your cat would sniff you out and get you caught.
Yeah, like that's it. Flipping, like that literally happened. Like I streamed the whole thing. Like that's why I've been getting into the horror streaming. Like streaming the horror games is like. It's flipping, like I get so invested. I'm fucking like, ugh, like genuinely having very visceral reactions.
But that makes for the most entertaining streams. That's like the sort of things that I like to watch on Twitch. Like if I'm too scared to play a game, I can just watch someone else play it. Yeah. And then I can look away when they're getting scared, but they can't because they're controlling it.
Yeah. And just streaming, flipping. Like, what do you call it? When you're streaming, and even if there's only like one person watching you or two people watching you, I've still got, I still leave my things up. It's still going to YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So I can't suddenly go, I'm too scared. I'm going to press pause and have a little minute. So like taking that option away of being able to step away from it, it's a lot. It's a lot.
See, my worry with like streaming is like, because over the years, I mean, I have mentioned it to you outside of this chat, but I have considered doing like streaming and stuff before on Twitch purely because I am really flinchy, really jumpy, and I think it would probably be quite hilarious to watch me being a pussy playing these games. However, like I do worry that if I started doing it, sometimes it takes me that long to like defeat a boss or get through a level that I feel like people would just be like, for fuck's sake, I can't watch this. It's too frustrating. Like watching me die over and over and over again. I think people would probably just switch off, to be honest.
I've definitely had ones where it's gone that way. Well, there's other things like I recently played Silent Hill 4 for the first time, and like the Silent Hill games, like sort of how things are going at the end, sort of like goes on like how good you've been with your resource management and like doing the right things behind. And like flipping, I ended up with like quite a lot of people watching me, like for the last part, which was like flipping like 5 hours. Because I just having an absolute disastrous run, but I was getting kind of to the end. I was like, come on, we got to do this. And people were coming in like sort of going, yes, go on, lad. Because I was having a fucking disaster, like, because like the device in that is like you keep going back to your room and you've got to sort of keep your room cleansed and sort of do your healing. And I'd fucked all that up completely. You know, so it was all going disastrously wrong. But I was like, we're going to do this. We're going to fucking do this. I know.
Were they cheering you on, though?
Yeah.
That's all.
I've been playing a lot of old games. Like I've set up like a PS2 emulator on that. So I've been playing.
Yeah.
I've been playing like loads of old games from that era. I'm currently playing like Silent Hill Origins. I've been playing from all the old Silent Hills. Are you familiar with the Silent Hill games much?
Not massively. I'm more familiar with the film, which again is probably going to get me crucified by any of your listeners. But no, PT was the first one that I played, and obviously that's not even officially a Silent Hill game. I kind of missed that whole era, but I'm definitely like really, really invested in the new ones that are coming out. I will 100% be getting those straight away, especially the I think is it F?
It's the one that's set in Japan.
Yeah, with the like midsummer looking trailer. Yeah, I will be there 100%. Pre-order.
There's much information on it, but it looks incredible.
But I love that though. Don't you think that's so cool that they can just like drop these trailers with like little to no information and the world just goes nuts for it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would, and I know that they're doing a remake, aren't they? Of is it the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will be investing in all of those as soon as they're available.
Yeah, I think they're all going to be like PS5 exclusives, like. But I'm probably going to buy a PS5 for it ultimately, like, because at the minute I'm alternating between my PC and my Xbox. But
yeah,
but I've
they're
been
just so expensive.
yeah, but like the PS5 stayed really expensive for ages. Like it was like 500-600 quid in CEX at the start of this year because they never really like put enough of them out. It was always like a bit of a shortage. But like they're down to about like I think you can get one for 400 new now.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, so I reckon what you call it, I might wait a bit extra, like wait to see if they do like a discount in January and then get on the PlayStation wave then.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it might have to be a request to Santa for me.
Yeah. But I've been what you call it, the other ones I've been getting really invested in, like that are classic franchises kind of made a comeback, is the Project Zeros, known as the Fatal Frame games and other ones. And I've been playing all the old ones of them, but like that was like the first game that because they recently reissued one that was exclusive for the Wii U, like called Maiden of Blackwater. And they recently made the one before that was only available in Japan. They brought them back to all formats. And the thing is, they're very J-horror, them games.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds interesting. I've not heard of those.
Yeah, but the sort of framing devices is around small haunted locations in Japan, like kind of rural Japan, and like weird rituals have been going on and this kind of thing.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, but the most recent one, have you still got your Switch?
Yeah.
Because the thing is with these, you can't like attack the ghosts when they get you. The thing is, you right at the start of each game, you get a thing called the camera obscura, which is an old box camera.
Yeah.
What you've got to do is to fight the ghosts, you've got to take pictures of them.
Oh, okay. I feel like I have maybe heard of this.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling one of the girls that writes for Ghouls, Sarah, she was saying about a Switch game that was something similar to that. I wonder if it's the same one.
Yeah, like the Maiden of Blackwater is like the most recent one. Like the one before that is like a bit janky with the controls, so I'd recommend probably going for Maiden of Blackwater first. Well, the thing is, like, it's like you've got to take photos of them. Like, I've like rebought them on Xbox and replayed them on that. And the old ones have been played on my old PS2 emulator. Well, the thing is, it's like third person while you're sort of navigating through this world and finding your things. But when you fight in the ghosts, and some of the ghosts are fucking terrifying, like, you know, it's proper J-horror shit, but they're fucking the way they move and the way they designed is incredible. But like you've got to take pictures of them, and like it does more damage if you let them get closer, and it goes into first person. And if you're playing on the Switch, like when it goes into first person, like the camera's viewfinder is physically moving around while you're moving the Switch in your hands.
Oh, I see. Oh,
so you've got to frame it exactly on them, and it does more damage the closer they get. So sometimes if they're really slow, this ghosts coming to kill you, and you've got to stare straight at it and like keep as it comes towards you, and like the closer it gets. So that's like quite a good little sort of device. Like you can't look away.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, but they're but what should we call it? The Maiden of Blackwater and the Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. They're very entertaining on the Switch for that reason. The fact that
that sounds great. I'll check them out.
Yeah, I believe there was a film and all. I suppose that's something we should mention. It's like the sort of film adaptations. How familiar are you with the film adaptations of Resident Evil?
I've watched the first one with Mila Jovovich, is it? I've watched that one a couple of times, and I recently watched the new Raccoon City one. And I also tried to watch the TV series,
Yeah,
but really couldn't get into it.
That one sucks. The TV series. I really tried with that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I couldn't get into the Netflix series at all. Just really, I don't know. I just found like I think I only watched, to be fair, I didn't give it much of a chance. I only watched probably 2 episodes, but I just didn't find the characters very likable. I just didn't really feel like I cared about them. And I was sort of like, if I don't care about you now, I'm not going to care about you when you're getting ripped to shreds by zombies.
Yeah, because it's a full 6-episode series. You've got to sit with them for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't massively rate that. Raccoon City, also not good.
I had quite a lot of fun with that, like flipping but not on my first watch. Like what happened was, like, flipping originally when I started doing the podcast on YouTube, I didn't have fiber broadband. I had shitty copper wire shit, and like I was recording in the studio, so I was uploading like 4K videos. It was taking me a day to do it, and I couldn't flipping like I had to turn the Wi-Fi off on my phone to check Facebook. It was like flipping taking up all my. So I was putting a lot of like Blu-rays on just to play in the background because I had no internet for the day I was uploading, and I kept banging it on in the background, and I just became a nice little comfort film for me. Like, I just really like the bit where Jennifer Page's crush.
Yeah. I do like a good needle drop. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it was like, it's definitely not the worst film I've ever seen. It's definitely not the worst zombie film I've ever seen, but I think I just sort of, I had an idea in my head of like who those characters would be played by, or they would, or at least what they would look like. And especially I think like, it's not Steve Amell, is it Rob Amell? The guy that played Chris. I can't really remember. Young and very hot, but he just wasn't, in my brain, he just wasn't Chris.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, flipping, I mean, like, this is the thing. It's something that I've only like really started considering the last few years. Is like video game adaptations have not had a good history. There's been good ones. I do like the Silent Hill one.
Yeah.
But like flipping, like they tend to miss a lot of video game adaptations, because like if it's something with a really good story, then like flipping, even like playing and getting everything right, you're still spending like 12 hours with those characters doing different things. So if you're going to get that down to, so you've got to cut a lot to get it down to an hour and a half.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's an easy feat by any sense. And I do think that, I mean, Silent Hill I do really like, but again, I haven't played the game, so I couldn't really say whether it's a really, really accurate portrayal of, you know, what happens in the game. I think there's sort of mixed reviews on that, and that's fair enough, but it's a good film. Like, as someone who hasn't played the games, or someone who maybe have never even heard of the games, I think you can watch it, you can understand it, and it's a good film. You don't need all the like little details of things. Whereas I find like with the Resident Evil films, they aren't that good a film. But they also rely on kind of like the fandom, like the little details of like who people are and stuff. Whereas,
I don't know, with the the Paul Thomas Anderson, like the Milia Jovovich, flipping, like I watch them quite a time because they appeal to my dumb early 2000s brain. Like whenever I'm really sick, or like flipping, if I'm going through it, like I've just had a breakup or something, I will watch all 5 Underworld films in one sitting.
Fair. Yeah. That is fair.
I'm flipping. I can't make an argument about why those films are good. They're just something that appeals to me because, like I saw them when they were coming out, and like I just think they're awesome. And
Yeah.
fucking, I've got that kind of relationship with the Resident Evil ones and all. Like,
Yeah.
I do think it's a big fall off from what you call it, considering it was the guy who made Event Horizon, which is an all timer. But like, he fell off before that. People don't talk about Soldier at all.
No, it's out of my scope of knowledge.
Soldier?
I don't think so, no.
Right, flipping Soldier is the one that Paul W.S. Anderson, not Paul Thomas Anderson. What the fuck am I doing? Is what you call it? He made after Event Horizon, and it's like what you call it? But from the writer of Blade Runner, it's an unofficial sequel to Blade Runner. It's got Kurt Russell in it, and like theoretically on paper that should appeal to me. Like,
yeah,
but like what happened? Like while they like, I'm not clear on these exact circumstances. I just know the results of what happened. Is that like Kurt Russell like broke both his legs in separate incidents in the same week, in the first week of filming.
What? How?
Yeah, I don't even know how you move enough when you've got one broken leg to break another leg.
Yeah, that's wild. So not at the same time in two separate incidents.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's separate incidents. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, but they had to get the film made. So what they did was they what should we call it? They tried to shoot like they had like a week where they were just filming like things that could be filmed by Kurt Russell while he was lying down, and like then they had another week where they filmed things where he could be sitting down. And if you watch the film, it's like quite jarring for that because it's obviously like, and the thing is, he's obviously in quite a lot of pain throughout the rest of the film. And like, it's not a good Kurt Russell performance. He just looks gutted for the entire runtime.
Oh my God, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a film that really has been buried.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, very big fans of Paul W.S. Anderson and Kurt Russell still don't know that film exists. But
no, I never heard of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the thing with what should we call it, like adaptations of films, is that flipping a lot of the time, like flipping Hollywood, like flipping games can be like the most intense experiences for the reasons we discussed, the way you're so embedded in them and like the way you are that person and the way you feel these connect, they can be so emotionally intense. And like a lot of them, they're very violent. There's some of them, I've seen some more shit that's as fucked up as anything I've seen in films, and I've watched fucked up films in computer games. But like the people who want to like make films for these like really big properties, they like, oh, it's got to be something we can sell to fucking 12-year-olds. When the game wasn't designed for 12-year-olds, or it kind of was, but like they said no, it's 18 because they know that the kids will get it anyway. Whereas like Hollywood doesn't think like that. Like, you know, in the same way that sort of post-Scream, when we had all the Dawson's Creek people in the slashers, they became really bloodless and sexless.
Yeah.
But like I think a good example is like the recent reboot trilogy of Tomb Raider is fucking incredible. I'm replaying those games now. It's like the opening 10 minutes of the first one is fucking horrifying.
Okay, that's interesting. I did play a bit of Tomb Raider when I was younger. I think probably on the the first PlayStation. I could just remember a bit with a pool and a butler, and you could push the butler in the pool.
That would have been what you call it, number 2, like as a sort of survivor trilogy, because like in all these films, like Lara Croft's basically like a superhero in it.
Yeah.
And this sort of survivor trilogy, fucking like, it sort of concerns the first time that she's had to do all these things. So like in the first one, like you've got like she's got like the first thing you've got to do is like build a shelter, and then you've got to figure out how to make a bow and arrow out of shit that's lying around. And
okay, yeah, that sounds more interesting.
And like there's a lot about the character, like it's about young Lara Croft who doesn't know all these things, so you're dealing with the first time she's ever had to shoot someone.
Okay.
And
yeah,
like,
see, that sounds good.
You know, because I mean, like, by the time Lara Croft and all the other games, it's like flipping walks around with 2 guns on at all times, just blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like this game, like, you know, you're about 2 hours in when she's in a situation when she has to shoot someone, and she's like crying afterwards and dealing with the fact she's done it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Is that on? Are they on all consoles?
Yeah, and what should we call it? Like, at least they're very cheap to get hold of now. Like, if you're buying them digital, I'm replaying the Survivor trilogy at the minute. Like, I'm up to the last one, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've dipped out to get a bit more horror content on there at the minute. But they're fantastic games. Like, but like that, like, as I say, like the fucking start of the first one, like quite a lot. There's parts of them that are like fucking genuinely fucking. Like, I think the Baba Yaga bit in the Rise of the Tomb Raider is like some of the most like terrifying, disorientating, mindfuck horror I've ever played. Like, and like that's what the games are making. But when they did the new Tomb Raider movie, which concerns the same period when she's going on her first adventure and that, they make it, you know, as basically a kid's film.
Yeah.
And it's like fucking. All you've got to do is adapt the shit that's already there. And like the new woman who plays Lara Croft, I think she's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's always going to be a problem, because like Hollywood doesn't seem to recognize that games are designed for fucking grown adults these days.
Well, Hollywood just doesn't want to put anything in films that could possibly offend or upset, does it? And anything that, you know, they can't sell to a wider audience. That's why we've got indie films, I guess, being able to put all the gross stuff in that we love. But yeah, I mean, I think like, especially with games like Resident Evil and like Silent Hill, where like the violence is so graphic and it's such a big part of it, like that's the sort of thing that I want to see. And like, whilst I do like, you know, like the mic drop to, not the mic drop, the pin drop for Crush in Raccoon City, and I do like that sort of thing. It's that also makes it feel more like a haha, this is funny, we're gonna shoot some zombies, and like it's more still like light-hearted and like a comedy. If I were to, you know, if I was given the millions to make a Resident Evil film, I would want it to be as dark and as dank and as scary and as gritty as the games feel.
Yeah, I think what's called Silent Hill is a lot better than that, because there's like always that psychological aspect to it. Like the character, like a lot of the monsters are sort of like, you know, sort of manifestations of the character's guilt, and like because you can't sell that to kids, like that's why the first one was so good. And there's going to be a new one. It's from the same director as 2006 Silent Hill, and he's adapted Silent Hill 2, and that was the one where they went way down the psychological horror route.
Yeah, I am excited for that. It's just, it's always a bit, I think you're always a bit apprehensive, aren't you, when people do like sequels to things. Whenever it's an adaptation of something that's beloved, you're never going to please everyone, but you know, you do your best. The second Silent Hill film, I didn't enjoy at all. So I do, you know, I'm sort of apprehensive about a third one, but I liked the first one and it's the same director, so who knows? Like, I think it's nice to watch that, and you can at least see that he obviously loves the content. You know, he's obviously put a lot of effort into making it kind of have that look and that feel. Whereas, I feel like Raccoon City, just, I don't know, and the TV series, neither of them felt like a Resident Evil game to me.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, so what you call it? Before we sign off, like, has there been any other games that you've been fucking with?
So I did play. What did I play recently? I played Callisto Protocol when that came out. That was quite cool. You sort of stuck on this again. It felt very alien-y.
Yeah.
You know, you're sort of in space and shooting all these monsters and things. It was okay. I enjoyed the action of it. The combat in it's really cool. The only way that I could sort of describe it is that, have you seen the film? What's it called? Upgrade, the Lee Winnell film. You know how it has those sort of effects where, like, every time he sort of dodges a punch or something, the camera sort of like moves with his head and things like that. That's what the combat in Callisto Protocol feels like. It feels very like animated. It's not just, you know, like them with like a stiff back but punching or shooting or anything. Like it's really cool. So I would recommend that, but I think I wouldn't have paid as much as I did for it, knowing what I know now, sort of thing, because I bought it when it first came out. So maybe if it's on sale or anything, I would recommend that. But I play a lot of Dead by Daylight still, and they're coming out with a new Alien chapter. I've mentioned Alien a lot this time.
What's called Alien Isolation. Flipping, I've only had a little go of it. I haven't had a proper play of it, but that's supposed to be like one of the greatest horror games ever.
I get recommended that all the time, but every time I go to look on PlayStation, it's still quite expensive. So I'm sort of, maybe I just need to take the hit and go for it.
Yeah, I've copped it on PC and it's quite cheap, so maybe I'll be streaming that. I might save it till after Halloween because I kind of want to stick with the ooky spooky for the next few.
Yeah.
You know, it might be boiling, but we're entering spooky season, and of course we got to mention dropping next Friday is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game.
Yes. I'm so poor at the moment, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy it this month, but I am very excited for it. I'm just a little bit worried because I mentioned it the other day to someone and they were like, oh, isn't it just like Dead by Daylight but Texas Chainsaw Massacre? And I was kind of like, I don't think so. I don't think it is that though. I think it's going to be more.
It is an asymmetrical multiplayer game.
Okay, maybe it is then.
Yeah, it's like
I'm still gonna get it though.
Yeah, it's like 3 people playing the family, and I think it's like 5. So it's a 3 against 5. So you've got the different members of the family with different attributes and all this kind of thing. And I think it's a lot more advanced by Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight's like 10 years old or something now.
Yeah, definitely.
And they flipping nailed the aesthetic. They did like a run where they let people play it for a few days, so you can see games of it on YouTube. And it looks fucking sick.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited. It just
and it's like, as I say, I've got an Xbox. It's on Xbox Game Pass on day one.
Oh, that's so annoying. I don't think it's going to be on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, but I booked the day off work. I'm going to learn the controls.
I love that.
Like Ephod, like I did for my first 50 games of Dead by Daylight. Day one, I'm getting it, flipping it, and that's what I'm doing.
Nailing it. Yeah.
But
I played a lot of Dead by Daylight during lockdown. Again, that was my other one that I played on the Switch. That everyone says it's weird that I played it on the Switch, but I did. But the only other game that I would just quickly recommend is, it's not particularly scary, but it is a horror game. Have you played Little Nightmares?
Yes.
Oh, I love those games.
Yeah,
Little Nightmares 1 and 2, absolutely loved those.
Yeah, there's a couple of similar ones. Limbo.
No, I've not played that.
Yeah, Limbo and Inside are similar kind of thing.
Inside, I think I started playing, and I can't remember why I stopped. But I have seen that one.
Yeah, Limbo's the one they did before it, and it's all black and white. It's flipping it. It almost looks like the sort of storybook at the start of Resident Evil Village.
Oh yeah, that sounds sick. I love that.
Yeah, Limbo. I think you could even get it for your phone now. It's flipping. It's considered one of the best games of all time. It's that's the one that started the format that went on to be the Little Nightmares games.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I'll definitely look into that then.
Yeah, flipping like I played a bit of what should we call it? Like bit Dead by Daylight with what should we call it? With what should we call it? Bry, peppermint tea on a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, flipping what should we call it? We've squadded up a couple of times, and like flipping when everyone's got it, because like I think there's a few people we know that are going to be on it. We're going to have to squad up.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've never played it with actual like people that I know. I tend to like have just gone on and like played with randoms, but I'd love to do it with people that I know.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a similar kind of thing to what's called the Friday the 13th games. It's the same.
Yeah.
And like I say, whilst it's an asymmetrical multiplayer, it's also like a bit more advanced. Like one of the things in if you got a headset, like
Yes.
one of the things you could do in a Friday the 13th, if you were hiding around the corner from your mate, you could whisper to him.
Yeah.
So you could actually communicate, which you can't do in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
But only the family can communicate with the family, and only.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that. We need to get
we'll squad it up. Maybe we could have like Ghouls Mag versus or something like. We'll get.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we talk a lot in we've got like a Ghouls group chat, and we talk a lot about like games and things like that, and we always talk about the idea of getting a Ghouls gaming channel sort of going, so that would be great.
Yeah. Like I say, like I've been doing a lot of like figuring out like how to sort out my own stuff. I kind of want to start a second like fucking like horror gaming podcast, but I'd want to do it like with someone.
Yeah.
Fucking like I do this, it's on my own, like, and I've got my people that I can hit up regular, but it's fucking long sorting guests. So having to do that for 2 podcasts, I don't think I could do it. But if I like maybe if I can find a co-host who I can get down with, like I'll fucking like maybe I'll look at that in the future. But as it is, it's twitch.tv/Kinell, yo. Yeah. But so I reckon we'll wrap it up there. Actually, I want to throw out a couple of recommendations. Flipping. I played an indie game recently called Tormented Souls, which is inspired by like the original Resident Evils.
Okay.
It's kind of new on that, and like I had a fucking blast playing that. Like, it's like a woman receives a mysterious letter, and saying that there's been some issues on this island, so she's got to go to this island, and it's got a sort of mental asylum on there that has a priest knocking around it and all this weird stuff, and it's like it looks like the fucking like mental asylum from fucking Malignant that's on the sides of the cliff. But
oh god,
yeah, that's very good. Definitely recommend Tormented Souls. And honestly, like flipping, I'm going to go back to it and stream it again. I'm a bit more familiar with the controls, but my God, the Backrooms 1998 is the most terrifying anything like over any film that I've ever had. Like, absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I need you to let me know the next time that you're streaming that, because I want to watch you play it. I don't want to actually play it myself, because I probably will shit myself.
Oh yeah, I'll holler. And like, I back everything up on the channel and all. Like I'll go into like I'll have a worry about the technical side of things, like on the flip side, because like all this new Streamlabs stuff is dope. It's at the point where there's like very, very easy to use tools now.
Awesome.
Yeah, but we'll wrap it up there. Obviously people know to check Ghouls Mag and that. Do you want to hit them with your plugs, your socials, anything you got coming up?
So obviously definitely follow Ghouls Magazine. You can find pretty much anything that I'm doing there. I've got a couple of articles coming up for Ghouls. There's a couple of other articles coming up for other outlets in the next 2 months as well, which I'm really excited about, which I can't disclose yet. But if you follow me on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called now, for as long as it survives, it's at kill_list with a Z. And I post everything that I'm doing over there. So come say hi. Speak to me about horror films.
Aces, do that. And what you call it? You're knocking around Fright Fest, aren't you? So
I am there. I will be there Thursday to Monday, the whole weekend, including many a beverage, I hope.
Oh, absolutely, certainly, most definitely. Well, okay, we'll wrap it up there. I've been Kinell. Sinister_cinema on the Twitter, on the X, because fucking Mr. Free Speech banned my main account. I just joined Blue Sky today. I'm on Kinell on that. It's Kinell Yo on Twitch. I'm trying to push that. Really want to get people locking into that because I've just passed the amount of followers you need to monetize. But I've got to hit a certain period of like average viewers, and then I can monetize, and then you can give me subscriptions. And I want subscriptions because you get to give a free subscription a month if you've got Amazon Prime, and it won't cost you a penny, but it'll give me money. So that's what we're trying to achieve. We're aiming for that. And yeah, obviously the KSC YouTube things, the likes, the subscribes, the little comments, the shares were always appreciated, and maybe a little rating on whatever audio format you are listening on. And we got the patreon.com/Kinell Sinister Cinema. I've remembered it for the first time in ages. So yeah, the KSC Podcast. Thank you very much, the amazing Liz Bishop, and we'll catch you soon. Peace.